So I thought, why don't I work on the other side of it? Instead of being reactive to the sickness, be proactive and teach wellness. And so I just love it. I have such a passion for it. If we can prevent it, why not? Why would we not do that? And everything's connected with our mindset, the way that we take care of our bodies, dealing with stress and anxiety. It all sits with us, and the inflammation causes the disease. And so if we took better care of our bodies, had better relationships, a mindset, we could be so much more healthy.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Carpe Diem Living the Podcast. I am your host, Shane Gitmed, and today we have Cyndi calling in from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes.
How's it going over there?
It's good. It's beautiful. The weather's been nice. Got sunshine like usual.
Nice. Nice. When does it get super hot? Because I know at some point it gets like extreme, like 90s, 100s. Is that just in the summertime, or does it creep in during the spring months?
Usually just the summer. So there's June, July, August for sure. It'll be 110, 115 degrees. It's literally like an oven. You step outside and the heat, even the wind is hot. It just takes your breath away.
Have you ever tried cooking an egg on this hot ground? I have to ask.
I have not. However, I know people who have put up a plate of cookies in their car
And
baked cookies in their car.
Oh my God, I kind of want to try that if I ever pass through Arizona, because I want to go to Sedona. Yeah. I've never been there, but I've heard such great things about it.
It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous space, and there are vortexes there where the energy is just incredible, and you can go and meditate and just enjoy the nature. It's calm and peaceful. And then all the holistic shops and up there. It's really great. You should visit.
Wow. And that sounds perfect, especially since we're going to be talking about mindset today and how everything is all connected. And yeah, I think there's like retreats that happen in Sedona that I've heard about. I definitely that's on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah. Well, let me know. I'll go with you.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I would love that.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah. I've always talked about like wellness retreats or something like in the future, especially like, because I mean, so many people from all over the world listen to the show. So I'm like, how cool would it be if like all of us like-minded people went on these types of events? So we'll see. But
that would be so amazing.
But oh my gosh. So your background in wellness. So you've been a nurse for 9 years.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. How has that journey been for you? You know, being a nurse for this long and then discovering holistic health.
I've always had a desire to help people. That's been my heart and my passion. And so the caregiving, it seemed natural. I went to school to become a nurse, and I love it. I feel like I'm making a difference. I've been able to give back in so many ways. However, it got frustrating feeling like we're just giving medications, we're treating diseases after the fact, and all of the sickness and the pills, they help. There's a lot of good to be said for the licensed professionals out there. However, they only do so much. And a lot of them are just treating the symptoms. And just after so many years, it breaks my heart to see the sickness there and these people that spend years dying in a sad health state. So I thought, why don't I work on the other side of it? Instead of being reactive to the sickness, be proactive and teach wellness. And so I just love it. I have such a passion for it. If we can prevent it, why not? Why would we not do that?
Exactly. And I think it is very fulfilling in general, just seeing the difference that you're making in different people's lives. I feel like if I was ever in the medical field, I'd feel the same way, because especially when you know that it could be better and they don't have to go through these things, you're like, what's stopping us from applying it, you know? So
Yes.
yeah.
And everything's connected with our mindset, the way that we take care of our bodies, dealing with stress and anxiety. It all sits with us, and the inflammation causes the disease. And so if we took better care of our bodies, had better relationships, a mindset, we could be so much more healthy.
Right. So how did this work as, you know, with mindset find you? Was there a certain point in your life when you're like, I need to make a change for my own mental health? Like, how did it come into your journey?
Yeah, and a lot of it for me had to do with fear. My journey with fear. I grew up attempting to please everyone and to be the good girl and not feeling good enough. And so living out of fear, not doing things out of fear of not pleasing my parents, my teachers, fear of what other people would think, not being the perfect wife, the perfect mother. And I got to a point in my life where I felt stuck. I literally thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown because I was working so hard to put this, it ended up being a facade. This person, this persona that I thought everyone wanted me to be, saying the right thing all the time. Am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? That literally was going to drive me crazy. I literally thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown. And so I thought, I've got to do something. I got to change something. And so I did. And my husband and I, we started on this journey to grow, a personal growth and a mental change. And it's been a journey since then. And my mind has been expanded. I've learned to let go of a lot of that fear, to shed a lot of that fear, to find an inner peace. Meditation is a big part of that. I love to meditate, and yoga. And that mental peace was everything. And learning how to be instead of do.
That is huge. It's so true because we live in a world where we're constantly like, go, 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 go. And we don't even stop and breathe sometimes. I can relate so much with your story of feeling like you need to be perfect and please people and always trying to do the right thing. That pressure can really just weigh so much on a person. And as women, we wear so many hats already. So let's just go ahead and throw all this other extra stuff. And it could be a disaster if you let it fester.
Right. And at the end of the day, I realized like it was pressure I was putting on myself. You know, my husband wasn't even expecting me to be perfect, and the people around me and my kids weren't. It was me, and how to shed that. It's difficult. However, the peace I have now is just incredible.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And especially when you have kids, the anxiety of like trying to be the best mom, the perfect mom. I know I was researching like crazy, trying to make sure I had everything right. And at the end of the day, like it is very self-imposing. And when we come to peace with that, we're like, oh my gosh, why would I ever do that to myself? So,
right?
Yeah, you have like this awakening. You're just like, okay, no more. And you start to notice all the shifts that happen when you work on your mindset. So I'm curious, what do you do in the mornings as far as like setting the tone for your day? Do you have any sort of like morning routine when it comes to wellness?
I do. So I do not check my phone first thing in the morning. I've learned, I don't know, Mel Robbins, and other people mention whatever you put in your mind first thing in the morning it can set the tone for your day. So I don't check my phone. I don't check my emails. I don't check my Facebook. I get up. I like to get a shower first, and then I'll do my meditation, 15, 20 minutes, and just have that recentering, that focusing for the day. And I like to set an intention for the day. And then after that, I'll go kind of get my schedule, my intention, and then after that, head to work, check my emails, whatever I need to do. But that focusing before I even get started helps a lot.
And that is also true about not checking your phone right away, because there's a very special thing about social media. When you have a million notifications on Instagram, a million notifications on Facebook, now you have your email, and because it never stops, it gives you that anxious feeling like, I cannot get ahead. I can't, keep up with and then it feels like you're getting pulled in so many different directions, and it's terrible. It's just not a good way to start your day. It's like you're basically letting everything just hit you in the face first thing. And
Right. And a big thing for me with my mental health is being proactive. So I think, checking Facebook or whatever, or emails, it may be positive news, it may be negative news. However, how we perceive it, that sets up a mindset. And like you said, some anxiety, it can for sure. So just being proactive, getting my mindset straight first, and then ready to deal with whatever. I already have that piece, that mindset set.
That's good. Have you ever tried looking? So you know how usually like people check their calendar in the mornings, like, okay, what's my day looking like? Have you ever tried checking it the night before just to kind of be like, okay, I technically don't have like an important call or meeting till like 10 or 11. That way the next morning you're already naturally relaxed because you already know you don't have anything in the morning.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I do like to prepare the night before. And if I'm going to work, I will set out my clothes. Like I'll have the coffee maker. I do like coffee. The coffee maker ready, which helps a lot not to feel so rushed in the morning. And I do like to kind of plan out my day for the next day. And then having a family and kids kind of have what their agenda is set for the day helps as well. I do sleep a little better knowing, okay, here's what I have going on, or I have this first thing in the morning, feeling more prepared for sure.
And I know there's some moms that like to wake up not extra early, but a little bit earlier than everyone else. That way we get that quiet time.
Yeah.
I treasure that quiet time so much. I don't know if your kids are like mine, but he has like a spidey sense that when I wake up like around 6, somehow he's like, oh, I need to wake up at 6. So
right?
How do they know?
Feel that. They can feel that. They do. Mine are actually a little older. I have an 11-year-old, a 14-year-old, and an 18-year-old. He just turned 18.
Stop. Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You look amazing for having kids that are so grown. Wow.
It's all in the mind. Truly.
I love it. Yeah.
But there is that sense of calm before the chaos, before they get up, for sure. I treasure that time as well.
And it's funny because I'm like, man, my son just wakes up so early, but I'm sure like as he gets older to your kid's age, it's gonna be like, oh man, I kind of miss like that morning rush when they're so little, like looking for mommy or something. So
right. Now they're like, they don't want to get out of bed for school.
You're like texting them like, hey, are you awake yet?
Oh, yeah. Especially my daughter. I have to go in there a few times. And the funny thing is, I remember my mom doing the same thing. I'm like, it's karma.
History is repeating itself.
Yep. That's what I get.
Oh my gosh. So being a nurse, obviously you work at a hospital, right? How has COVID, your experience with all of this, how has that experience been like for you? Like just seeing everything in the front lines. What are you noticing holistically that could help people during this time of like this pandemic?
Mm-hmm. I've worked in about every different area you can imagine. And right now I'm actually working for a COVID testing company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've done a little bit of everything. And I think with COVID, a big thing has been the fear, the mental health, the depression that people have had to face, the emotional struggles. And even I was talking with someone the other day, the frontline workers, the healthcare workers that have been dealing with it day after day, and the emotional pressure, the mental pressure on them. Like I'd love to do more to reach out to them, to have some kind of mental release, something holistic that they could do. So it's been scary. It's been scary all around. And a lot of people have kind of withdrawn. And it's sad because we're such social creatures. We need that connectivity. We need people. We need the social interaction. And so I would challenge people to stay connected, whether it's through Zoom, phone calls. There's so many other ways you can stay connected other than physically, and keep that connection. Even in a lot of the nursing homes and the elderly homes, it's so difficult. They're not allowed, their families are not allowed to go and visit them. And in the hospitals, they're not able to see family. And so we workers are the ones there by their bedsides. And so thankfully, I was able to go and do that and offer to help. I worked as a travel nurse in New Jersey for 10 weeks back in May and June during the first wave.
Right.
And I feel like I was one of those standing in the gap. I was there for them when their families weren't able to be there, and to hold their hand. Yeah, the stories that I have, this one lady just would hold my hand and cry and say, "Don't leave me," just that loneliness. So stay connected, because that does affect our health. Even, you know, keeping your immune system up and all of that is great and wonderful. Although I think the social connection
Yeah.
is even more important.
That is so true. We need people. We need our loved ones. We need our friends. And that's why I remember when someone was kind of dissecting COVID in general, when they said social distancing, they're like, if we change that to just, because, right, we can stay connected socially through,
Yeah.
these types of platforms. And that's the main reason why I started this podcast, because I was craving human connection.
Yes.
I'm such an empath, and I'm someone that's naturally extroverted. So I was just like, what do I do with all this pent up, extrovertedness that I can't get out normally, So I'm like, this is the best way, like, to hang out with people from wherever. Yeah. So yes, I feel like if we change the narrative of like socially distance or social distancing to just like physical distancing, that would just kind of shift, like when you change that one little word, because for a long time, it's, in a way, it made people kind of become reclusive. Like, they're just like, okay, I need to kind of keep to myself. So fear of just talking to anyone. And you shouldn't have to live that way. And I remember, because I am the social butterfly of my family in the group, I would like FaceTime people and call people, even if it was like super random. And I'm like, hey, just checking in, because how else, do you get that social feeling back during this our world? So, but that experience of, being there for people, especially senior citizens, that I don't know how you weren't crying every day, because I know I would just be so.
I did a lot of days. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I even had a family member that was in a care home, and family members, of course, couldn't like fully go in. If they dropped off anything, it would have to be at the door and then passed along. And it got to a point where they were like, okay, like, no more. This is actually making his health decline because of mindset, being away. So when they took him out, he's actually doing a lot better. So that just shows the mindset, the power of the mindset. So
yeah, for sure. Sure. And being isolated is not good for our health. Yeah.
Right. So as a mom, how are you passing along, the importance of wellness and mental health to them? Because for me, there's going to come a day when I have to tell my son about, all of this power of mindset. Are there little nuggets or things that you do with your kids so that way they practice the same thing, as far as, the mental calmness, to really reduce anxiety? Because the kids are feeling anxiety too during this time.
Yeah. For sure. And one thing I started when I got back from New Jersey is we'll set goals for the week. Well, every Sunday night we'll have a family dinner and talk about our past week and our future week, what we want. And then with my husband and I doing the personal growth and the things that we've learned. We've come home changed people, and we've put them through some classes as well to work on their mindset and their personal growth. And I think that the best thing that we can do as parents, though, is to show them by example. So we realized we were at a point in life where we were stuck, and we made a change, and we learned that we could take control of our future, and we can create our future and pursue our dreams and pursue our goals and live bigger and better and bolder. And by doing that, that shows our kids that they can do the same. And so that example, I think, is the best thing that we can do. And that excitement, that passion, that being, and not concerned with doing so much has been the best thing for them. And the talks and learning to speak from the heart and to be vulnerable and be open, let go of that fear of what everyone thinks, and discover who I truly am. And then we're encouraging them to be themselves and to pursue their passions, what they're interested in. Like our oldest, he's graduating high school and he wants to travel. And so we're encouraging him to do that. In fact, we have contacts in Thailand. We lived overseas for a while. And we want to send him over there to travel for a couple months. He's very artistic and see the world. Like, who else does that? You know, you live.
Love that.
And it's not healthy in any way to keep ourselves bundled up, to live in a box, to limit ourselves. So to take those limits off, like take that ceiling, break that glass ceiling, you know, break that ceiling, whatever it is. And encourage them to do the same.
Oh my gosh, you guys are the best parents. Like,
right?
So blessed, so lucky to have you guys, because I'm sure, of course, you know, I respect everyone's opinions on how they handle, you know, the pandemic, but to have that opposite of like, no, you should go out and explore and, you know, see things, get inspired. And if he's artistic, this could definitely open up so much creativity. Like, who knows, like what, you know, he'll probably come back as the next Picasso. Like, you know, it's just, you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity. And then of course, when the country is not open now to tourists. So when the pandemic kind of settles down, when he's able to, we're going to do that though, for sure.
That's the best, you know, high school graduation gift a kid could ever ask for. So, because when I was a young buck, I wanted to have this whole Euro trip planned out and go to France. And I didn't get to accomplish that, but that's something in the future when things open up. Because despite what's going on in the world, being bold is still something I cannot turn off myself. So I'm like, I will go and travel when we are able. Like, I'm not going to have this fear mindset, because I mean, that just lowers your vibration overall too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that, like, at all.
Yeah.
So it's very important. I love that. So let's talk about your book that released today. That is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited to get a copy. So it's Stories from the Front Lines, a publisher that I know asked for stories. So I wrote about my journey there and some of the specific stories of this woman that I was talking about and things like that. And just to share what it's like for some of us. I think there are other stories too, maybe one from a stewardess, an airline stewardess, a doctor, a couple different things like that. But yeah, and I sent you the link, so you'll share that. I'll have to check it out.
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely going to put it in the description and all of the things for everyone to see it. I will snag a copy because I love reading these types of stories. Like, I'm sure you've heard of it, Humans of New York, when they were posting a lot. Like, I just love, you know, just the real human experience, right? The rawness of what goes on around us. And I think it's just so important. So we have not only more awareness of, you know, how COVID looks in different people's, you know, occupations, but also just to have more empathy of what's going on. Because there's a lot of people suffering right now, whether we're directly affected or indirectly. But I think if we all just came together, being very supportive, especially for people that are serving at the front lines, it would just help us all get through this time. And
instead of separating, connecting, coming together.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I just couldn't put it into words. Amazing. Oh my gosh. So do you have any tips for our audience on what they can start doing today that would help them shift their mindset if they're new? Because for a lot of people, they're like, what? Just think positive thoughts and that's it. But there's a lot more to it. So from someone that is now going to be coaching, you're doing coaching as well. What would you suggest as like quick little tips for people?
So it's about what you put into your mind. And part of it first is recognizing what's in there, recognizing maybe the fear when it creeps in, or the anxiety, or the negativity, like, you know, what you're saying in your head, the loops that continue, because otherwise they just continue if you don't stop them, if you don't interrupt them. So, you know, whether it's, it's never going to work out, or the driver, you know, pissing you off in traffic that frustrates you, or whatever, the kids maybe not doing what you want, and just recognizing that thought pattern and then changing it. And so there are so many ways. There are audios, there's YouTube videos that are inspirational, there are quotes, so many things that you can find. I like to sometimes post things just around on my bathroom mirror that are inspirational. something I'm dealing with in the moment or post things around the house. I have this really cool plaque that I found. I think it was at a Barnes & Noble, and I bought it. It's in my living room, and it says, "Do more of what makes you happy." So just little triggers around your house, things that make you smile. I have a little rock that says gratitude on it. And some days I'll actually carry it around in my pocket if I'm feeling just a need to be more grateful that day. And every time I feel it in my pocket, I'm like, yeah, what do I have to be grateful for right now? And gratitude is actually an amazing way to raise your vibration, to raise your energy. You know, life happens. Things that are sad are going to happen. Things that are frustrating are going to happen. And just realizing in that moment that loop, like a cassette recorder that just keeps playing. And if it's a little negative, if it's not positive, if it's not lifting you up, we do have the power to change it.
I think that's super important to highlight, because a lot of people think that when things are out of their control, they just like let it be. But in reality, we can kind of wrangle it down and be like, no, we can change the tone. We can change the narrative. It's up to us. You know, we have to initiate that. So I think if we all just remembered that, even when things feel so crazy, we could definitely get it down to where it doesn't feel like it's taking over. So.
Yeah. Exactly. That narrative is the important thing. We're not able to control what happens around us. If we're in a car accident, or say, you know, a loved one does get sick, we are not able to control that. However, we can control the story we're telling ourselves in our head. And so we can control that and change that.
So true. I love it. And these are all just great reminders to all of us, you know, be grateful, you know, give gratitude, because each day is a blessing and so many different opportunities. And just, you know, just remember that you have the love and support around you. So even during COVID, pandemic or not, you're not alone. You know, you don't have to be in isolation. We can all come together and be connected. So
if nothing else, there's Shane. There's, you know, reach out to one of us. There's somebody out there.
Right. Just add me on Facebook, whatever. I'll be there. Awesome. Wonderful. So where can our listeners find you online to connect with you, work with you, and just to check out everything that you're doing in the holistic space?
Yeah. So I'm on Facebook. My name's Cyndi Searles, Cyndi. And then I don't know if you have a way to list it. My last name, I married into it. It's a little different. It's like Sears. It's Searles. And then I'm on Instagram as Searles5. And then LinkedIn as well. Cyndi Searles, my name. And then my business is Cyndi's Better Life. I have found my better life, my path to my better life, and I want to show others the path to their better life as well. So my website is www.cyndisbetterlife.com.
Love it. Very motivating, very inspirational. And to everyone that's listening, you'll get all the links in the description, especially where to find her on our YouTube channel. So yeah, just tune in, and thank you all again for listening today. And thank you, Cyndi, for coming on to the show. It's been such a pleasure to have you as a guest.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you all.